You are listening to the Radio Atlas. Story time. رادیو اطلس را میشنوید. کانال داستان. I am Masa and you're listening to Stories with me. Stealing the Hills by Josephine Feeney. Level 2. Elementary. Chapter 5. The next day, everybody talked about Mr. Beach. "He's a good man," my dad said. "He's bringing money and jobs to the village." "Yes," Mom said. "It'll be nice when everybody's working again." "I don't like Mr. Beach," I said. "Why?" Dad asked. "Mr. George says that he's going to ruin our village," I said. Dad laughed and then he said, "Old Mr. George doesn't like things to be different, that's all." "No," I said. I was angry with Dad. "It's more than that. He'll ruin our lovely hill next to the country park." "Well, some people want a job more than a nice hill," Mom said. Most people said the same thing. In each of the village shops, Julie and I talked about the hills. Nobody wanted to listen to us. Mr. Beach bribed everybody to be quiet. They all thought that Mr. Beach was a good man. Then Mr. Beach started to look for workers. "Wanted. Workers for new mine. Good money, nice work. Telephone Mr. Beach. Number 011 928 756. Hundreds of people wanted the jobs. When Mr. Beach drove around the village in his big car, people always smiled at him. They all wanted to work for him. One day, in late August, Julie and I went for a walk in the country park. It was a lovely summer evening. "Look over there," Julie said. She pointed to Mr. Beach's hill. We saw big lorries all over the hill. I was very sad. "It's not too late to stop him," Julie said. "We will make some posters. We must start tomorrow. There's no time to lose." Back at home, my dad came in with his first money from Mr. Beach. He gave it to my mom. She looked at it and asked, "Is that all?" "Yes," he said. "That's all." He was not happy with the money. "But it's only half of what..." "I know, but it's better than nothing." "But Mr. Beach is very rich. He can pay you more than this," Mom said. "That's why he's rich, Mom," I said. "He doesn't pay his workers much money." The money was bad. The workers did not have any breaks for tea and only 30 minutes for lunch. It was a night's work. Before long, the hills were black. "I think you're right, Susan," Dad said. "Mr. Beach is not a nice man. I can't buy all the food for the family with this money." "We must stop him, Dad, before he ruins our village," I said. Every day there was black smoke from the mine all over the village. The village was dark in the day and babies and children were ill because of the smoke. Big lorries from the new mine drove quickly through the village. The hills were black, but Mr. Beach didn't look sad. He only wanted to steal our hills. Julie and I met at a house. We made posters in all different colours. We wanted to stop the digging Mr. Beach is stealing our hills, one said, and stop the big lorries, said another. We asked the village shops to put up our posters. No, they said. Mr. Beach buys lots of things here. Nobody wanted our posters. We went home and put them in our front windows and in other places around the village. The Evening Post took photographs of us. Things are going well, Julie said. People began to understand Mr. Beach's plans. One man looked at one of our posters. You're right, he said. Mr. Beach is stealing our hills. Can I help you with your posters? A lot of people said the same as this man. People didn't like Mr. Beach much now. I can't help you, another man said. I don't like Mr. Beach, but I don't want to lose my job. In Mr. Beach's supermarket, things were expensive. People didn't have the money to buy a lot of things. Mr. Beach tried to take everybody's money. He drove around the village and he smiled at everybody from his big car. We had a protest meeting one Saturday morning. Julie and I made lots of posters for people to carry. There was a lot of noise at the protest meeting. 80 people walked through the village and past the country park to Mr. Beach's hill. Save our hills, we called. At Mr. Beach's hill, there were lots of men with big angry dogs. Go away, or the dogs will come after you, Mr. Beach cried. No, I said. This is our country park. We're tired of you. You're the worst boss in this village. You're the worst boss in the world. We want you to go away, Julie cried. We want our hills back, Mr. George said. Go away now, Mr. Beach said angrily. The dogs showed their teeth and made angry noises when he spoke. Let's go, I said quickly to Julie. Those dogs are very angry. Julie turned to look at the people from the village. I think it's best to go home now. Mr. Beach knows that we want him to leave the village. We walked back home and I was happy. After all this time, people in the village understood about Mr. Beach. A woman from the Evening Post newspaper was at the protest. She wrote down all about the angry dogs and the things Mr. Beach said to the people when he was angry. You watch, Julie said. Things will be different now. People now see what Mr. Beach is doing. But Julie and I didn't know everything about Mr. Beach. Before long I was very afraid. Mr. Beach didn't like people to question his plans. You are listening to the Radio Atlas. Story time.